Hello everybody! Today we're going to talk about the best credit cards for college students. And yes, you do need a credit card, and no, it's not something that you just have for emergencies. You can actually use it to build credit for your future, which is so important. Coming from someone who graduated a year and a half ago and had to use my credit score to get a lot of things in life, I'm here to tell you exactly what you need to know about college credit cards. So let's go through why you need a credit card first. It's really good for building credit history for future apartments that you're gonna get after college, for a good APR on your car if you do get a new car and want to finance that. It's good for housing loans. It's just good for so many different things that you're gonna need the moment you graduate. Not that you're gonna go out and just buy a house, but you will rent, and they do look into your credit history, and that ends up factoring into how much your security deposit for that apartment would be. So you could easily save thousands of dollars in the long run having a good credit score. Student credit cards are also the best way to start building credit because you can get awesome credit cards, great offers, and a great rewards rate, not having any previous credit already, because they factor into the fact that you are in school right now and they don't expect you to have any credit, let alone amazing credit already. And that goes into the third point of why you would want a credit card. The rewards rates are amazing. Everything is very, very expensive. And when you use a credit card to buy something and you pay that credit card off in full every single month, you don't waste any money on interest rates. Like, you won't have to pay interest on anything if you pay your card off in full, and you get rewards back. So there are several cards where you get 1%, 2%, sometimes even 5% cash back on anything coming from the drugstore. Sometimes it's just a flat 2% cash back off of anything you buy off that credit card. And there's one that gives you 5% cash back on Amazon, and these are all zero annual fee credit cards. So you don't have to pay anything at all to own the card if you pay it off in full every single month. All of these are $0 annual fee, so it doesn't cost you anything to have that card. It will cost you if you end up going into debt and having a balance greater than zero at the end of your month. So there are a lot of things that go into your credit score. It's the amount of credit you have, the amount of new credit, your payment history, the mix of credit, and the length of how long you've had access to that credit. And that length aspect is what you want to maximize on now, because you would, assumingly, if you're going to apply for a college card, have a credit length of 0 years, which is the reason you might not get approved for larger, better credit cards. That's why they have this whole section of student credit cards, which is absolutely awesome for you guys to start building credit, so that once you graduate, you have 4 years of credit already built. You're gonna have access to amazing rewards cards where you get a lot of cash back, or you get travel points so you can travel hack and just save money on the side. So I'm gonna split this out into two sections. So one section is for people who have absolutely no previous credit, you don't know where to start. Those are gonna be the student credit cards for you. And I'm gonna have another short section about people who may already have credit, and assuming that you are in high school or in college, you might not actually have as much credit, so definitely check your credit score. If you do have any cards in your name, you can find it for free on NerdWallet or Credit Karma or any of those websites. That section is going to be for people who kind of understand credit cards and already have one or a sub-account of one in their name. I'd recommend just watching both sections because you know what happens when you have no credit and the cards you're eligible for once you do have credit built up. So out of all of the cards available as student cards for people with no credit, I think the Discover It student credit card is absolutely hands down the best one. It's a $0 a year annual fee, so it's essentially free for you to own it. The APR goes up to 21%, and the APR is the annual percentage rate. So anything you owe in debt to your credit card will be taxed at that rate every year. So essentially, if you have no debt, i.e. you pay your credit card off in full at the end of that statement balance, like let's say you start January 1st to January 31st, you spend $500, and on January 31st you pay off that $500, your statement ends in that that 1 month period, so February 1st, again, that's when they look to charge you interest. And at that point, you would have $0, so there would be no interest. And the rewards rate is absolutely awesome for this card. It's a 1 to 5% cash back, where the 5% is for rotating categories every quarter. So one quarter could be Amazon, the other quarter could be Target, Walmart, wholesalers, you name it. So depending on what that category is, you get 5% cash back for every dollar you spend there, which is essentially 5 cents back for every dollar, which is awesome and is not free money because you are spending money to get money, but it is less money spent out of your wallet because you are getting that cash back. And the minimum credit for this is just limited history, so that's why it's a student credit card. You don't need to have any history to be approved for this card. So with this card, you get 1% back on every purchase, 5% on those rotating categories. There's also an intro offer of them doubling whatever you make in cash back after your first year. So let's say the first year you ended up saving like $400 and you got that in cash back, they would double it for the first year. So you would have essentially $800 cash back the first year. The one con I will say for this card is that 5% cash back is quarterly, and you have to go into your account and activate it every single quarter, and you have to keep track of what the 5% back is for that quarter, because some quarters it could be gas stations, the others could be wholesalers. So it really depends, and you do have to keep track of it, like, you know, every 2 months, which honestly I don't think that's a con. I think you should be financially literate to do that and learn how to do that earlier on in life. But that is a con if you absolutely don't want that and you just want a card that gives you a flat cash back. This one also gives you a flat cash back of 1%, but if you want something that's 1.5% flat cash back and no rotating categories, there are options for that as well. But I will say, I think this is the best card, and if I could go back in time and teach myself about credit, which now I know the things, but I did not know the things before, I would get this card. Just a quick interjection, if you find any value in this video so far, please smash that like button and hit subscribe down below to support the channel. It really does help a lot. Thank you so much. Let's move on to the Chase Freedom. Again, this is a $0 annual fee card. All the cards I talk about today will be, and it gives you a flat 1% back on every purchase, and there's an introductory offer of $50 if you make even one purchase in the card within the first 3 months, which, you know, you should be doing that. Again, the APR is high, but I'm assuming that all of you are going to pay it off every month, so you don't have any debt, so you don't have to pay any interest off of that balance. And usually for intro credit cards, your limit, like, you can't just spend unlimited amounts, right? Your limit's probably going to be something low, like $500 to start off with. Once you start building credit, they're going to give you higher and higher credit limits. And the way you get a higher credit score is having a large credit limit. Like, let's say between all of your cards, you have a limit of $50,000. You're only utilizing about $5,000 of it. That's 10% utilization, which anything under 30% is awesome for your credit score. So you're going to have a higher credit score if you have less utilization. So whatever your credit limit is, obviously you don't want to be at that limit, and if you are, you want to pay it off every month so there's no interest. But yeah, the Chase Freedom, absolutely awesome card. A big pro is that you're going to be a part of the Chase credit card family, which is awesome because once you graduate after the 4 years, they're going to switch it to a regular Chase Freedom, which has way better benefits, better rewards rates, and being a part of the Chase family is great because they have very top tier credit cards such as the Chase Sapphire Preferred and Reserve cards. Those are absolutely awesome and hard to get into, which means they're hard to get accepted to. But if you're already a part of the Chase family, it makes it much easier to get approval for those high tier credit cards in the future. So I think Chase is also an awesome option, would get that as well if I could go back. Another flat rate credit card would be the Journey card from Capital One. Again, I think being a part of Chase is more valuable than Capital One, but this gives you a 1 to 1.25% cash back if you go with the Capital One card. So all of these cards are awesome. Like, having one or any of these cards over no cards is, you're already doing it right. This list is kind of just for optimization at this point. And if you're really worried about getting approved for any of these student cards, which you can go through a pre-approval process where they don't do any hard checks into your credit or into your history, the Discover It Student Chrome is one that's a very good card if you are worried about that approval. There's no annual fee, and again, it matches rewards for the first year. So this is different from the first card, Discover It, that I talked about, but this is also a great option, especially if you're scared about approval. I would just just recommend going into the bank and talking about this, or calling their customer service line to see if you're pre-approved or not. Moving on, so this part, I'll just talk. I think the 2 cards I have right now are absolutely awesome if you do already have some sort of credit. I'm not assuming any of you have credit already, but if you do, the PayPal 2% cash back is absolutely awesome, and it isn't too hard to get approved for. You just get 2% back in everything, and I just use it usually as PayPal statement credit. So if I have like, you know, $300 or $400 cash back, I just buy something on that card and I use the cash back I have already with my account as PayPal credit. So it's really awesome. You get everything back in PayPal or statement credit, and I think the 2% flat is absolutely awesome, and that goes in well with my second card, which is the Amazon Prime Rewards card, where you get 5% back on every Amazon and every Whole Foods purchase. If you don't have any credit, I would not recommend applying for these cards because you might not get approved. If you have questions, you should call customer service and ask them, but I think the 5% cash back on Amazon is so awesome. I've had this card for about a year now, and I've had at least $450 in cash back. I get my family to use it as well, so it's really great. 5% back on every Amazon purchase. I think it's a really good deal. It's a great rewards rate, and it's $0 of a fee every year. And I'm really big on credit cards that have $0 fees. Like, I'm literally just getting 5% back because I pay my statement off every single month. So I've never had to pay interest on any credit card ever. And that is really your goal. Like, the reason you have a credit card is to build history. That's why I think you need to pay it off every single month. It isn't just free money that you're just going to pay interest on forever, because it's just going to keep adding up, and you don't want to pay for something that you can't afford. That's my golden rule, which is, you know, it sounds basic, but there are a lot of people in credit card debt. And since you're young, it's good to steer clear from all of that if you can. Some other really great cards, if you already have credit, to consider would be the regular Discover It card or the Chase Freedom Flex. I really love these, again, because of the 5% cash back on those rotating categories. So right now, if I'm using my credit cards for Amazon, I use my Amazon card. For everything else, I use PayPal, and I'm planning to add a Chase Sapphire or an Amex Platinum for travel benefits. And then you just have these cards to use for certain categories in your life. You're getting the most bang for your buck, which optimization is awesome. I love doing that. When it comes to credit cards, it feels more like a game. These are cards you can certainly get the moment you graduate. You have really good credit, 4 years, payment histories on time. Your average account length would be 4 years if you started freshman year, and you will have a high credit score, hopefully above a 720, where you can get approved for really good rewards cards that are $0 a year. So with all of these student cards, after you graduate, they just turn into the regular version of that card, and usually you're gonna get way better benefits as well, and it will still be a $0 fee a year if that's how your student credit card started off. So it is pretty great. Your credit limit is probably going to increase, which is awesome, because then your penetration rate of how much you have utilized in your credit card is going to be less. Like, if you spend usually $200-300 a month on your credit card and your limit is $500 while you're a student, that means your utilization rate is pretty high, between 40 to 60%. But if they bump up that limit to like $5,000 and you're still only spending $200, your utilization rate is much lower, and that's exactly what you want to even bump your credit score up even higher. So right now mine is at 762, and out of 850, and anything above 720 is considered, you know, good/excellent. And I think that the reason my score isn't as high is because I only have 2 credit cards, so my limit is not that high, so my utilization rate is going to be a bit higher because my credit limit is low. So once I expand and get more credit cards, that limit's going to increase, and although that's going to decrease the average length of how long all of my accounts have been open, it will lower my utilization rate, so that's going to work in my favor long term. So that's pretty much it for my video today. Hopefully one of these cards is going to help you build up credit, so you're going to have a great credit score by the time you graduate. Glad I could be a part of that journey. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys at my next video.